cast iron skillet for pie, you ask? Yes. Once you try it, you will be asking why you haven't been baking desserts like this more often. A word about apples. The Granny Smith and Golden Delicious apples are apple pie favorites because they maintain their shape through the long baking process. The tartness of the Granny Smith and the sweeter taste of the Golden Delicious join together to give this apple pie a nectarous depth of flavor. Homemade pie crusts are always an option, but this easy apple pie recipe calls for refrigerated or frozen pie crusts. Once you've baked your bottom pie crust and tossed your choice of apples with sugar, cornstarch, and cinnamon, pile the apples into the cast iron skillet on top of your buttery brown sugar crust. Blanket the apple filling with your top crust. The best apple pie brings a sweet tart flavor to the dessert table. Brush with egg white and lightly sprinkle with sugar. Slide your cast iron skillet into the oven for an hour and enjoy the apple pie smell wafting from your kitchen. When your easy skillet apple pie is baked, your dessert-hungry dinner guests are going to swoon. And so will you.
In a large skillet over medium-high heat, combine diced apples, lemon juice, lemon zest, maple syrup, cornstarch, ginger, cinnamon, and nutmeg. Add the dried cranberries. Stir and cook for 4 to 5 minutes or until the apples are tender. Pour the apple mixture into a medium-sized bowl, cover with plastic wrap, and refrigerate until you're ready to assemble the parfaits. Add coconut oil to a large skillet over medium heat and allow it to warm up. Add the oats and almonds and cook, stirring continuously until they are golden brown. In the hot skillet, combine maple syrup and cinnamon. Cook, stirring continuously for 1 minute or until the mixture is bubbling and thickened. Pour the oat mixture into the skillet and coat them with the syrup. Cook for 1 minute, then remove the skillet from the heat. Transfer the granola to a large bowl and add the fresh cranberries. Toss to combine, then pour the granola into a parchment-lined sheet pan, spreading it out in a single layer. Top each of your parfaits with a sprinkling of granola and 3 thin slices of apple.
In a large bowl, mix together granulated sugar, brown sugar, salt, lemon zest, and ground cinnamon. Add the apples and toss until well coated. The filling for this pie is started on the stovetop, then baked to perfection in the pie. Transfer the apple mixture to a cast iron skillet or Dutch oven over medium heat. Cover with a lid and cook, stirring often, for 15 minutes or until the apples are tender. Pour the apple mixture, including the rendered juices, onto a parchment-lined rimmed baking sheet and set it aside for 30 minutes to cool. Drain the juices from the apple mixture, saving a 1/4 cup of the liquid. In a small bowl, whisk the apple juice and lemon juice together. Line a pie plate with the pastry. Pour the apple mixture into the pie shell. Drizzle it with the apple juice mixture. Cover the pie with the second pie pastry. Trim the dough overhang to about 1/2 inch. Pinch the dough edges together with your fingers, then use a fork to decoratively crimp the edge. Use a sharp knife to cut 4 vents on the top crust to allow steam to escape while the pie is baking. Generously brush the top crust with the egg wash and sprinkle the pie with additional granulated sugar. Bake for 25 minutes or until the crust turns a light golden brown.
In a small bowl, whisk together 2 tablespoons of sugar with 1 tablespoon of flour. Using a stand mixer with a paddle attachment, mix the flour, salt, and butter on low speed for 2 minutes. Slowly add ice-cold water until the mixture forms a dough and becomes a ball. Don't overmix or you'll end up with a tough crust. On a lightly floured surface, knead the dough 2 to 3 times and form the dough into a disc. Cover with plastic wrap and refrigerate for 1 hour. Once chilled, roll out dough on a lightly floured surface with a rolling pin. Make the dough into a 16 to 17 inch round that is about a 1/4 inch thick. Wrap the dough around the rolling pin to help transfer to a parchment-lined baking sheet. Sprinkle the reserved sugar mixture over the dough. Arrange apple slices in overlapping circles, leaving a 3-inch border of dough, then fold the edges of the dough over the apples. Never made a rustic tart before? Soon you'll be a pro, and we're convinced you'll start making rustic tarts as your go-to fruit dessert for every occasion. Before you bake your rustic apple tart, brush the apples with melted butter and sprinkle the whole tart with the leftover sugar. Refrigerate the unbaked tart for 10 minutes. Bake the tart for 1 hour or until the apples are tender and the crust is golden brown. While the tart bakes, stir together the apricot preserves, cinnamon, and nutmeg until they melt in a small saucepan over medium-low heat. When the tart cools, brush the apple filling with the melted spiced apricot preserves. The spicy preserves will give the apples a lovely glazed finish.